Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, well, we're tackling something huge, something that affects everyone. Fear. It's pervasive, isn't it?
It really is, and often quite strategic in how it operates.
Our source for this deep dive is Fear Not, Unlocking the Power Within to Rise Beyond Challenges by engineer Reuben Juma Onunga. Now, what I find fascinating is his background.
Oh, yeah.
He's a seasoned engineer from Kenya, so he comes at this whole topic of faith and biblical truth with this really practical, almost structural mindset.
That's an interesting angle, merging engineering logic with faith.
Exactly. Practical life, bold faith, purposeful action. That seems to be his approach. So our mission today is to unpack his insights on why fear is such a potent enemy.
And the book kicks off with a really powerful claim, something foundational. It points to scholars and preachers suggesting the phrase, fear not, appears 365 times in the Bible.
Wait, 365 as in one for every day?
That's the implication. The author really leans into that number. It frames this not as, occasional advice, but as the daily discipline, like a constant reminder.
A daily required check-in almost.
Precisely. And, crucially, the command fear not is almost never alone. It's tied to a promise. Fear not, for I am with you. That presence, that divine backup, is presented as the antidote.
Okay, that framing discipline plus presence makes a lot of sense, especially coming from an engineer's perspective. So let's dig in. Where does the book say fear even began? Chapter 1, right? Eden.
Right, the very first fear. The author argues that fear wasn't part of the original plan, naked and unashamed. That implies a state of complete openness, no hiding, no anxiety.
Total security, structurally sound, you might say.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
But that integrity was broken by disobedience.
And the immediate result, when God calls out to Adam, his first recorded words reflecting on his inner state are,
I was afraid. Boom, right there. That's the entry point.
So fear enters the picture through that broken relationship. And what does Adam do?
He hides, an immediate physical reaction driven by fear. And the book argues that same hiding instinct governs us now. We hide our potential, we hide from tough conversations, we hide from risk.
It paralyzes us. But hiding from God, the source of help, seems illogical.
It is, but that's the trap of fear, isn't it? It makes you turn inward, isolates you, makes you think you have to handle it alone, or that your flaws are too big to be seen.
So procrastination, imposter syndrome, avoiding challenges, that's all just modern-day hiding.
That's the argument. Fear disguises itself. It's not always a monster under the bed. Sometimes it's just that nagging anxiety, that hesitation that stops you from moving forward. It's the thief of joy, the destroyer of destiny, as the book puts it.
Like an inefficiency in the system, to use the engineering metaphor, a flaw that compromises the whole structure.
Exactly. It tells you to play it safe, avoid the very things you need for growth.
Okay, so how do we fight back? The book uses 10 Bible stories. Let's hit 3 big types of fear it tackles, starting with one that's huge, especially professionally, fear of the unknown.
Ah, yes, Abraham.
Right. He's comfortable in established life. Then God says, essentially, leave everything and go somewhere. I'll show you later.
Talk about lack of specifics. No roadmap. No destination on the map. Just go.
For anyone who likes a plan, that's terrifying. How does the book square that with, say, an engineer's need for clear specs?
Well, the core idea is that faith requires movement, even without all the details. You step out based on trusting the guide, not knowing the path.
So it's not about eliminating the uncertainty.
No, not entirely. The book points out that Abraham actually needed reassurance during the journey. Genesis 15:1, God tells him, do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. It's like a mid-project update.
Okay, so the promise isn't a detailed map, but it's a guarantee of protection along the way.
Exactly. It reframes the risk. Fear of the unknown paralyzes because you feel out of control. Faith, or obedience in this case, turns it into what the author calls a holy adventure, because your ultimate safety is underwritten, so to speak.
Okay, from the unknown to feeling totally outmatched, fear of inadequacy, David and Goliath time.
Classic example. You got this whole army, trained soldiers, just frozen, paralyzed.
Why? Because of Goliath. His size, his threats. He's basically embodying that voice saying, you're not good enough.
You're too small, you don't have the right equipment, you're going to fail. All that stuff. The fear of failure, of ridicule.
And the experienced soldiers bought into it. Then David arrives. Shepherd boy, no armor.
And his perspective is the game changer. He's not focused on Goliath's size relative to himself. He's focused on Goliath's size relative to God.
So where they saw an unbeatable giant,
David apparently saw a target too big to miss. It wasn't about self-confidence, pumping himself up. It was God confidence, trusting in something bigger.
And he used what he knew, right? The sling. He didn't try to wear the king's armor.
Crucial point. He used his own familiar tools, his own expertise.
Yeah.
The lesson there is that courage isn't needing bigger weapons. It's the resolve to act with what you do have, trusting that it's enough when aligned with, well, a higher purpose.
Using your strengths, even if they look small compared to the challenge. Okay, that leads nicely into the third fear. Fear of lack, insufficiency. Especially relevant now, maybe?
Definitely. The story used here is Elijah and the widow of Zarephath. Dire situation, famine.
And she's literally down to her last meal. A handful of flour, a bit of oil. She tells Elijah she's making it for her and her son, and then they'll just die.
Her fear of lack is completely irrational. The cupboard is bare. 0 resources left.
And then Elijah hits her with this command.
Which sounds completely insane from a survival perspective. Make me a little cake first. Use your absolute last bit of resource on me, a stranger.
Talk about testing the fear of lack, giving away the very last thing you have.
It defies all logic, all instinct for self-preservation. But that's the point the author hammers home. Sometimes, obedience has to come before the provision shows up.
So you act first, then the supply comes. Usually we think we need the supply before we can act or give.
Right, it flips the script.
Yeah.
The promise that the flour bin and oil jar wouldn't run out only came after she acted in faith, giving fearlessly. It teaches that God's supply chain, let's say, isn't limited by our visible scarcity.
So when fear screams hoard, faith might whisper invest or act.
That's a good way to summarize it. It's about breaking that scarcity mindset through trust and action.
Okay, so we've seen fear of unknown, inadequacy, lack. What about just raw crisis? Overwhelming situations. The book uses Jesus calming the storm.
Ah, yes. The disciples, remember, some were professional fishermen. They knew storms on the Sea of Galilee. They knew real danger when they saw it.
And they panicked, woke Jesus up, basically accusing him. Don't you care that we're drowning?
Their fear completely overwrote their experience and their knowledge of who was actually in the boat with them.
And the insight here isn't necessarily that the storm will magically stop the moment you have faith.
No, it's that peace isn't the absence of the storm. It's the presence of Christ in the storm. Fear magnifies the danger and makes you forget your resources, including divine presence.
So the real miracle sometimes isn't the external circumstances changing, but your internal state remaining calm despite the chaos. Maintaining that internal structural integrity, maybe.
Exactly. Calming the heart while the storm still rages. That's often the deeper work.
Which brings us to the ultimate storm, the biggest fear that kind of underpins all the others. Death itself. How does the book connect overcoming fear to the resurrection?
That's presented as the absolute linchpin, the final stronghold of fear. When the angel says, "He is not here, he is risen," that message, according to the author, fundamentally breaks the power death held over humanity.
It shatters the ultimate fear.
Yes, death was the final threat, thing that could make people slaves to fear their whole lives, always trying to avoid it, always limited by it.
So how does that ancient events, the resurrection, impact me today when I'm worried about, I don't know, a job interview or paying bills?
Because if the worst possible outcome, death itself, has been defeated, then theoretically all the smaller fears, failure, rejection, loss, embarrassment, lose their ultimate power over you. That's the connection the source makes, referencing Hebrews chapter 2.
It frees you from that ultimate leverage fear has.
Right. It's a call to live differently now. Boldly, abundantly, not constantly playing defense against potential threats. It should change how we love, how we give, how we take risks, knowing the ultimate end is secure.
Which leads to the final idea in the book, fearless living. And you're saying this isn't about being reckless.
Not at all. It's about choosing peace over panic, trust over terror. It's about becoming, as the book says, a walking testimony that God's presence is more real and powerful than whatever crisis the world throws at you. It's that engineer's assurance again. The foundation is sound, even under stress.
So, wrapping this up, fear is the thief, the paralyzer.
It truly is. Locks us up. But the source offers these 365 reminders, these fear nots, coupled with "I am with you" as the daily counter strategy. Courage, then, isn't feeling no fear.
It's the disciplined choice to move anyway.
Exactly.
I really like the author's motto again here. Practical life, bold faith, purposeful action. It pulls it all together. It's not just theory.
It demands application.
So for you listening, how does this connect? Where does fear have a grip on you?
Yeah, let's leave you with this thought, based on everything we've discussed. Think about one specific thing right now. What decision have you been putting off? What important conversation are you avoiding? Is it because deep down you're afraid of failing or being rejected or facing some consequence.
That hesitation, that silence, is that your version of hiding? Like Adam in the garden?
If the biggest fear has truly been addressed, as the source argues, then what's one small, maybe uncomfortable but brave step you could take today to step out of that specific shadow? What would that look like for you?